Hey there, welcome to the Millennial Book Junkie. My name is Monique, and welcome to another episode of Thriller Watch, where we're going to be talking about all the books, events, and movies coming out in the thriller genre in February of 2026. Now, before we dive in, I want you to tell me in the comments what you are reading because I am so curious and I love adding things to my infinite TBR. All right, aside from that, get comfy, get something to drink, because we are diving into all of the good stuff coming out in February, and there is a lot of good stuff. All right, so in my last Thriller Watch video, we actually divided up the thrillers by type of thriller, and I really like that because not everyone likes every type of thriller. So I'm going to be dividing up the thrillers that I talk about by type of thriller. And we're going to start out by talking about all the crime thrillers coming out in February of 2026. The first crime thriller coming out in February is on February 3rd, and it is called Stolen in Death by J.D. Robb. This is book number 62 in J.D. Robb's In Death series. And if the early reviews on Goodreads are to be believed, it does not disappoint. Lieutenant Eve Dallas is back investigating a billionaire's murder near a vault of stolen treasures that could reveal family secrets. I think fans of this series will definitely be excited that a new one is coming out. The next crime thriller coming out is Jigsaw, an Alex Delaware novel by Jonathan Kellerman that's coming out February 3rd. This is book 41 of the Alex Delaware novels. And in this book, psychologist Alex Delaware is back with Detective Milo Sturgis investigating two seemingly unrelated murders that lead to a complex and deadly puzzle in Los Angeles. The next crime thriller to look forward to is Wolf Hour by Joe Nesbo. That one is also coming out February 3rd. I love Joe Nesbo. I read The Snowman a while ago and just loved it. This one is set in contemporary Minneapolis rather than his native Norway, so that's different. And in this one, a detective and a crime writer conduct parallel investigations into a serial killer 6 years apart. This one apparently is quite the page turner and builds a lot of tension really well. The next crime thriller we have coming out is The Flack by Brad Parks. This is coming out February 3rd. This one is for fans of Harlan Coben. It's about two friends, Kurt and Angel. Kurt works at a failing newspaper, and Angel offers Kurt a job in corporate communications. But then Angel winds up dead. And also it appears to be a targeted hit. So now Kurt has to find answers to what happened to his friend. So if you like a good vigilante novel, this one is a good one to pick up. The next crime thriller we have coming out is We Were Never Friends by Kyra Ruda. This is coming out February 3rd. If you're a fan of Sherry Lapina or Mary Kubica, you might want to check out We Were Never Friends, because this one is about 5 sorority sisters who reunite for an engagement celebration, only to find out that their happy celebration gets disrupted when tensions and secrets start bubbling to the surface like bodies. This one has been called a popcorn thriller, and it's basically a riveting train wreck full of dark humor and scandalous behavior, if you're into that in a thriller, which I kind of think we all are. So this one looks really good, coming out February 3rd. The next crime thriller coming out is The Had a Call Boogie by James Lee Burke. This one is coming out February 10th. This is book number 25 of the Dave Robichaux series, Robichaux. It's set in a violent Louisiana at the turn of the 20th century. In this book, the detective investigates the murder of a woman who was left on his property in a garbage bag. He then faces dangerous gangsters and corruption in Louisiana's bayou with his partner, Valerie Benoit. So one reviewer I read on Goodreads said, if Cormac McCarthy wrote a murder mystery set in Louisiana with landscapes painted by Salvador Dali, it might approach The Had a Call Boogie. I just love that description of this book. The next crime thriller coming out on February 17th is The Devil's Bible, a Cotton Malone novel by Steve Berry. So if you're a fan of Steve Berry's Cotton Malone series, this one will be the 20th book in that series. And this one revolves around an ancient text called the Devil's Bible, which is also mentioned in Dan Brown's Secret of Secrets. So if you read that one, you might be familiar with the Devil's Bible, and you might like this one. In this one, Cotton Malone is investigating a kidnapping in Sweden involving the Devil's Bible, and fans of this series are saying it's one of the best so far. So if you like action, mystery, and history, this one should be on your TBR this year. The next crime thriller is Worse Than a Lie. a Bo Lee Cooper novel by Ben Crump. This one is coming out February 17th. Now, this book is the first in a new series by Ben Crump, who is a civil rights attorney in real life. It's about a Black ex-police officer who gets shot during a traffic stop and put in jail right when a Black president gets elected, and an attorney, Bo Lee Cooper, who fights to get the truth of why he was shot. So this book has a 4-star rating on Goodreads right now, and in the reviews, it's been compared to Steve Kavanaugh's Eddie Flynn series, so if you like that, but this one has more swag, apparently, than that one. So if you enjoy a really good, fast-paced legal thriller, you might want to pick this one up. All right, the next crime thriller coming out is The Crossroads, a Joe Pickett novel by C.J. Box. This one is coming out February 24th. So this is book 26 in the Joe Pickett series. And in this one, Joe Pickett is actually fighting for his life after a gunshot wound to the head. He's found at a crossroads between 3 ranches that are each owned by dangerous families. So it's up to his wife and daughters to figure out what happened to him and why. The final crime thriller that's releasing, at least the one that I'm mentioning this time around, is The Girls Before by Kate Alice Marshall. This is coming out February 24th. I have read A Killing Cold by Kate Alice Marshall, and I really want to read more by her. So in this story, Kate Alice Marshall brings us a story of mystery and survival. It tells the story of a search and rescue expert investigating a kidnapped teenager, uncovering decades of secrets while haunted by her own missing friend and local legends of a forest witch. I like where she's going with this one. All right, next up, let's dive into the political thrillers. We have 2 for you coming out in February. The first is Cold Zero by Brad Thor with Ward Larson. This is coming out February 10th. This is the only political thriller that I've read the synopsis for that I actually might pick up. I'm not really a big political thriller fan. But here's what happens. A plane crashes in the North Pole, okay? And on it, there's like this prototype for some technology that could tip the balance of world power. So basically a lot of people want it. Now all these countries are racing to the crash site of this plane crash to retrieve it, while the people who survived the crash are trying to make sure that those countries do not retrieve it. I don't know why, but I love a good plane crash story. So this got me immediately. The next political thriller is coming out February 10th, and this is called Anti-Hero, an Orphan X novel by Greg Hurwitz. This is book 11 in the Orphan X series, if you're familiar with that one. It's about a Black Ops assassin who helps a kidnapped woman, but then faces a major conflict when the same woman that he kidnaps asks him not to kill her attackers. So he's supposed to be vengeful, but also merciful, so it's a fine line. This one apparently is very gut-wrenching and action-packed, and it has an almost 4.5 star rating on Goodreads. So if you like political spy thrillers, you might enjoy this one. I remember reading a lot of good reviews. Next up, we have mystery thrillers coming out in February 2026. The first of which is It's Not Her by Mary Kubica. This is coming out February 3rd. In this one, we have a quiet lake resort and a double murder. So a woman named Courtney goes on a family vacation only to find her brother and sister-in-law murdered, and her teenage niece is missing. You can bet some dark secrets are going to bubble to the surface in this one. Next up, we have Warning Signs coming out by Tracy Sierra on February 10th. This is Tracy's second book after her night watching debut, which I've heard a lot of really good things about. And in this one, it follows a 12-year-old boy and his father who are on a ski trip where they both have to survive something lurking in the wilderness, but also they have to survive the dangerous people that are with them. A lot of people have said to go into this one knowing it's a little bit of a slow burn, but with more in-depth writing, rather than some of that gut punch intensity from her initial debut, Night Watching. So go into this knowing that, but this one seems like perfect for a cold, wintry day. The next mystery thriller is Dead First by Johnny Compton. It comes out February 10th. So this one might cross into horror a little bit, but I have a feeling you won't mind that. It's about a man who is filthy rich, and he invites this investigator woman over to his mansion. But when she gets there, the assistant kills the billionaire guy. and right before her eyes. And she's like, what just happened? But then this rich man comes back to life, like right before her eyes. And he wants her help in figuring out why he can't die. This sounds good. This is on my TBR for sure. Next up, we have The Jills by Karen Parkman, coming out February 10th. And this one is about a Buffalo Bills cheerleader. And Buffalo Bills cheerleaders are called the Jills. I had no idea. I now know that. So this cheerleader gets tangled up in Buffalo's criminal underground while searching for her own missing teammate. This book is said to be part mystery, part character-driven tale about a woman claiming her own power in a system built by men. If you're a Bills fan, especially, or if you live in that area, you might need to pick this one up. I've heard it's a little bit of a slow burn, but that fans of S.A. Cosby might enjoy it. He's like the king of slow burn. I really enjoyed Razor Blade Tears by him. So next up is Ours is a Tale of Murder by Nora Murphy, coming out February 10th. And this one looks really good. It has multiple POVs about different characters in a single neighborhood, and they all get woven together in one juicy twist. Essentially, there are three families who all become entangled in murder as a suspicious neighbor watches. This book has a 4.1 on Goodreads right now, and the reviews say it is unputdownable and a wild ride. I am so ready. Next up, we have Murder at 30,000 Feet by Susan Walter. This is coming out on February 17th. This one is quite literally a murder mystery thriller at 30,000 feet. A bunch of people are on their way to Puerto Rico, and lightning strikes and the power goes out on the plane. And when the power comes back, someone is murdered. So basically, you have to hang on to your neck pillows for this one. I feel like this sounds like the perfect thriller vacation read. Next up, we have Trust No One by James Rollins. It comes out February 24th. Now, if you're a fan of Dan Brown, I think you would enjoy this one. This is an adventurous thriller that combines history and adventure with elements of folklore and the occult. It starts with a ritualistic murder on Halloween. Okay, need I say more here? It's about a professor who is murdered ritualistically and his students who traipse across Europe to uncover the secrets in an ancient diary from the 18th century while being pursued by dangerous forces. You had me at ritualistic murder on Halloween. Next up, we have The Hard Line, a Gray Man novel by Mark Greaney. This comes out February 17th. And this is book 15 in the Gray Man series. Now, in researching the Gray Man series, Mark Greaney, this author, traveled to 10 countries, and he trained in firearms, battlefield medicine, and close-range combative tactics. So this guy has done his research. In this novel, Court Gentry, the Gray Man is battling professional kill squads and a legendary assassin who is targeting him and everyone he cares about. This is perfect if you like nonstop action and a juicy revenge plot. Don't we all? Next, we have How to Get Away with Murder by Rebecca Phillipson, coming out February 24th. This book is a debut that has people wondering, how is this a debut? Basically, it's a serial killer mystery where the murderer actually leaves a book of how he committed the murder at each murder scene. So a Scotland Yard detective is looking into these murders, and she has to read between the lines of every book the killer leaves behind to solve the case. So you're telling me she has to read a book to solve a case? Poor baby. Apparently, this is said to be an unputdownable book, and I am liking the unique plot on this one. All right, next up we have psychological thrillers, my favorite type of thriller. So the first one we have coming out February 1st. It's called Read Between the Lies by Jessie Q. Sutanto. So this one is set in the pandemic era. It's about an online rivalry between a debut author and an established author that turns into a dangerous obsession. It apparently has some commentary on cancel culture and mob mentality and the publishing industry. Next up, we have The X's by Leodora Darlington. This comes out February 3rd. This is a debut thriller about a woman who is just trying to find the right guy. And when she finally stumbles upon a good one that she likes, she's like, okay, this is great. I found my guy. Maybe he won't end up dead this time. I love that. Apparently, our main character is fighting some very violent urges that she has, and this one is getting mixed reviews on Goodreads, but I would say it has my attention. Next up, we have Good Intentions by Marissa Waltz, coming out February 3rd. This is about a woman who has lost her twin and becomes obsessed with another grieving woman who she meets while she's in the hospital when her twin sister dies. This one has been described as fascinating and disturbing, dealing with grief and also the delusion that if you have good intentions about something, it justifies whatever you're about to do. Very interesting. Next up, we have The Better Mother, which is a thriller by Jennifer Vanderkloot, coming out February 10th. And this one sounds really good. It's supposed to be a modern spin on Fatal Attraction meets The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. I loved that movie. Basically, our main character has a fling that gets her pregnant. And the guy that got her pregnant is like, look, I just got back together with my ex. Like, I can't deal. But he tells his ex that he got a girl pregnant. And that ex, who he's just getting back together with, really wants to help out with the new baby in ways that we can only wonder about. Next up, we have Her Last Breath by Taylor Adams. This is coming out February 17th. And this book is getting rave reviews on Goodreads. I have not read Taylor Adams, but it sounds really good. Taylor Adams wrote No Exit. So if you liked No Exit, you will most likely enjoy this one. This one is about two girlfriends who go caving together. I am getting Descent vibes. Have you seen Descent? I'm getting Descent vibes. Only to get harassed by a stranger when they are caving underground. And then one of the friends ends up having to go to the hospital after this caving event. And she realizes that the girl she went caving with wasn't quite who she thought she was. And whatever she experienced in the cave was only the beginning. So this sounds claustrophobic and fabulous. Next up, we have When I Kill You by B.A. Paris. This is coming out February 17th. So in this book, Nell Masters is convinced she's being watched. She has been receiving these silent calls and receiving anonymous flowers. But she's also, of course, hiding a dangerous secret from her past. So 14 years earlier, when Nell had a different name, she became obsessed solving a young woman's murder. And her fixation on that murder spiraled out of control. So now that past is threatening to surface. And Nell has to face whether she's being truly stalked or if she's the one who should be feared. That sounds interesting. Next up, we have Best Boy by Deborah Goodrich Joyce. This is coming out February 24th. So this is about a woman who gave up her acting career to marry a wealthy man and settle down. And then one day she receives a letter from a guy she used to work with on a movie. But it cracks open a part of her past that she thought was buried for good. And to make things worse, her memory is really foggy, so she's really not sure who is contacting her and why. Okay, next up we have Pinky Swear by Danielle. What are you laughing at? You laughing at the title?
Yeah.
Next up we have Pinky Swear by Danielle Gerard, coming out February 24th. This one is about a woman who reunites with her best friend in adulthood. And the reason they're reuniting is because her best friend is fleeing an abusive husband. So of course our main character takes her in. But not only that, the best friend offers to be a surrogate for our main character who is struggling to have a baby. But just 4 days before the due date, the surrogate vanishes. Worst nightmare, leading our main character on a hunt across the country to find the truth. Okay, guys, next up we have domestic thrillers. So the first one we have is Adrift by Will Dean. This is coming out February 17th. This is about a family where the parents are both authors. They're raising a 14-year-old son, and they decide to move to an isolated boat. And once the wife starts gaining traction as an author, the husband starts moving them further and further away from civilization. Okay, I'm told this one is a high tension thriller with lots of gaslighting. So if that's a trigger for you, don't read this one. But it looks really good from the reviews. Next up, we have She Thought She Was Safe by Terry Parlato. This comes out February 24th. So reeling from a divorce and her mother's death, Emma Schrader accepts an invitation to meet her estranged father at this big Victorian house on a secluded Maine lake. But when a neighbor turns up dead and hostility simmers beneath the small town's charm, especially from her half-sister, Emma realizes that Cheshire Lake is hiding dangerous secrets. What she hoped would be a fresh start may instead be a trap that she will not escape alive. All right, that wraps up all the thrillers coming out in February of 2026. I hope you've jotted down some that you like. I know that there are a bunch in there that I really like. Let me know in the comments which ones you guys are most excited about. All right, next up we have the thriller events happening in February 2026. The first is the Creepy Retreat. This is a 3-day retreat in Scottsdale, Arizona, happening from February 19th to the 22nd, where there are going to be a ton of thriller readers and authors, including B.A. Paris, Sarah Pekkanen, Ashley Winstead, Jason Rekulak, Lucinda Berry, and so many more. So you can find all the info at the details in the description box below. I'm gonna put a Google Docs link that has all these links, so you'll be able to find more info, but I totally wish I could go to this. This sounds amazing. And next up, fans of Mary Kubica can find her all across the country this month. She's going on tour for like a month and a half. She's coming to my city too. Anyway, I'm going to put a link in the description box so you can see where she's going to be. She's going to be all over the US. So she's probably going to be in a town near you. So that's really exciting. If you're also a fan of Jennifer Van de Kloot, who is the author of The Better Mother, she is going to be touring in Virginia and Arizona next month. So maybe you can catch her there. Also, if you're a fan of Tracy Sierra, who has her second book that's coming out in February, she's going to be doing a couple of events in Massachusetts on February 10th and 12th. Ben Crump, the author I just mentioned of Worse Than a Lie, is going to be touring next month too. You can catch him in Maryland, New York, Georgia, and more states from February 16th through the 20th. Once again, all these links are going to be down below in case you want to dig in a little further. Next up, we have Johnny Compton, who I mentioned he's the author of Dead First. He'll be touring in Texas, Arkansas, North Carolina, and more places next month if you want to see him in person. And then we have Leodora Darlington, who is the author of The X's. And if you're interested in meeting her, getting your book signed, she's going to be in Brooklyn, New York on February 19th. Next up, we have CJ Box, which I do not hear many events with CJ Box, but he's going to be in Colorado and Arizona in late February if you want to check him out. He's the author of the Joe Pickett novels, and I think they are wildly popular. Also, if you're a fan of Noelle W. Illey, she's going to be doing a couple of events in late February at a half-priced books in Indiana. And finally, we have TM Logan, who is also going to be doing a few events in the UK. If you're from there, make sure to check the description box for the link. All right, now let's talk about thrillers that are becoming movies or series this month. We have The Last Thing He Told Me Season 2 by Laura Dave. That's based on the book by Laura Dave. That one is coming out February 20th on Apple Plus or Apple TV. I don't know what it's called. It might be Apple Plus. But I have not read that book, but it is on my shelf. I need to get to it. Did not even know there was a season 2 coming out. So there it is, coming out this month. And then if you guys watch Night Agent, there is a season 3 coming out on February 19th on Netflix. And I have watched a couple of episodes of that show and I really enjoyed it. And that one is based on a novel by Matthew Kirk. So I didn't even know that was based on a novel. So there you go. All right, and finally, we have scary movies coming out in February, and there's a lot. There's some good ones. The first one coming out is The Strangers, Chapter 3. That is coming out February 6th. And in this follow-up to Strangers Chapter 2, it is the climactic finale following Maya, who confronts the masked killers, people who are trying to kill her, one last time in a fight for survival and vengeance. This one, I need to watch Strangers Chapter 1. I saw Chapter 2. I enjoyed it, but I didn't know what happened in Chapter 1. So finally, there's a Chapter 3. Hopefully it's good. Next up, we have Whistle coming out on February 6th. This is about some misfit high schoolers who find an ancient Aztec death whistle, discovering that blowing this whistle summons their own future deaths to hunt them. This has the same director as The Nun, and also it has the girl from Yellow Jackets who plays Shauna. Her name is Sophie Nélisse. I'm not sure how to quite say her last name, but when I saw the trailer, I was like, ooh, I need to see that because I like her. All right, next up we have Dracula coming out February 6th. I've seen the trailer for this. It looks pretty good. This one has Christopher Waltz in it. I really like him. This reimagines the classic Dracula tale as a tragic love story based in 15th century, following a prince who becomes the vampire Dracula after his wife's death. And it also leads him to renounce God after his wife dies, and he seeks her reincarnation across the centuries. Eventually, he finds her doppelganger in 19th century Paris, and he's facing a determined vampire hunting priest, Christopher Waltz, in a lavish, visually driven gothic romance. I am so excited. That sounds good. And the trailer, I kind of want to see it after seeing the trailer. Next up, we have Cold Storage coming out in February on the 13th. This is more of a sci-fi horror comedy. I think you guys would like it. If you are missing Stranger Things, Steve Harrington is going to be in it, aka Joe Keery. But this one is from the same screenwriter who did Jurassic Park and Mission Impossible. So, okay. Basically, it's about two young self-storage employees who face their wildest night shift ever when a parasitic, brain-controlling fungus escapes from a military sublevel beneath their facility. And they end up teaming up with a retired operative, Liam Neeson, to stop the rapidly mutilating threat from causing human extinction. Okay, I love apocalyptic stuff, and I really like Liam Neeson and Joe Keery, so I'm definitely going to want to see this one. I also really love a good brain-controlling fungus. I loved The Last of Us, so let's go on that one. Next up, we have The Mortuary Assistant coming out February 13th. This one is based on a video game. It's from the same studio that brought us Terrifier. I've not seen that. This one is about a newly certified mortician named Rebecca who joins the night shift, and she's embalming bodies alone after hours. And then disturbing events start to happen, and she uncovers demonic rituals and dark secrets, and also her own buried trauma as she attempts to survive the night. This one I might just have to see. It sounds weird. It sounds creepy. I like it. Next up, we have Psycho Killer coming out February 20th. Now, this involves a Kansas Highway Patrol officer as she hunts a sadistic serial killer called the Satanic Slasher. He brutally murdered her state trooper husband. So she is on a journey into madness, confronting a mind far more crazy than she ever thought, as she tries to figure out who this slasher is and bring him to justice. And also, this is from the producers of Barbarian, if you've seen Barbarian, which I just saw. No words. But yeah, basically it's from the producers of that one, so might be pretty good. Next up, we have Diabolic coming out on February 20th. And this one is a religious folk horror film about Elise. She's a woman experiencing blackouts, and she seeks a miracle cure through a church ritual, only to unleash a vengeful spirit, because of course. Next up on February 20th, we have This Is Not a Test. And I think this one is based on a book, but this is following a suicidal teen and a small group of classmates who basically barricade themselves inside of their high school during a sudden zombie apocalypse, forcing our main character to confront her desire to die as she witnesses others' fierce will to live. So this is interesting. And oh yes, the novel is by someone named Courtney Summers, and it blends zombie action with deeper themes of abuse and hope. Sounds interesting. Next up, we have The Dreadful coming out on February 20th. And Game of Thrones fans, be aware, this is Kit Harington and Sophie Turner coming together in this movie. So you know what I'm talking about, right? This movie is set during the Wars of the Roses, and a woman named Anne, which I think is played by Sophie Turner, and her mother-in-law are living a very solitary, harsh life on the outskirts of society. But when a man from their past returns, he'll set off a sequence of events that become a turning point for dear Anne. Little dove. I have to see this because Game of Thrones, just Game of Thrones. And finally, on February 27th, we have Scream 7. And this is about Sydney Prescott's new life being shattered when a new ghost face targets her daughter in their quiet town, forcing her to confront her past and protect her family. Gail Weathers is returning, and Mindy and Chad Meeks Martin. So those were probably from the prior movies, alongside new faces. I'm excited for this. I don't remember which Screams I've seen at this point. I just still watch the original every Halloween. I don't know. I'll probably see this. I'm a millennial. I have to. As long as Neve Campbell is still in it, I'll probably see it. And so that wraps up all the books, events, and movies that I know about coming out in February 2026 in the thriller genre. So I want you to tell me what you're most excited about. I really want to know. And if you haven't already, please let me know what you are currently reading, because I am dying to know. I literally love a room where people are just talking about what they're reading. It's like my favorite thing. So let me know what you're currently reading. Let me know what you're excited about and all the stuff that I just listed. And thank you so much for watching. If you're here to the end, let me know. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.